Hey guys, Titan.Overland here. So I wanted to bring you a little how-to video. So I've got the first gen Nissan Titan, and those are known for having terrible ventilation within the rear axle housing, and which really leads to blowing axle seals on a regular basis. I went on a trip about a month ago to South Carolina, and the trails there had that really fine silt type of dust, and I believe that really clogged up the vent that I have that's in the housing now, which is just a stock one, and caused me to blow an axle seal on the way back home. Left me stranded on the side of I-40, rear diff fluid just seeping all over my tire. So what I did was I went to PRGproducts.com and picked up their rear differential breather mod kit, and I'm gonna go ahead and put that on. It should be a relatively quick install and should definitely save me in the future from having any issues with blowing rear axle seals because of poor ventilation in the rear axle housing. I'm gonna throw the link to PRG down below. I got the kit for about, I think it was like 50 bucks, and it should really do the trick. So I'll show you what's in the kit. All right, so the PRG kit came with what you see here. So we've got an actual Can-in air filter, and you see it's a crankcase vent filter, so this will work just fine for what we're doing here. I've seen other people use fuel filter, but I kind of like the additional breathability of a bigger filter like this. Comes with basically fuel line that we'll use to kind of route this up out of the way. Comes with 2 hose clamps for the filter, and then for the brass fitting. So what we're going to do is we take the old vent off of the rear housing, and then we're going to thread this in, and then put this on top of our new barb fitting, clamp that down, run our hose to wherever we want it to go, put our air filter at the other end, and then clamp it down, and then we'll use a couple of zip ties to kind of tie up the job, keep it out of the way, and make sure that we're allowed to have enough movement in the rear axle. So like for off-roading and things like that, I don't want to get stretched out, flex a little bit, and this thing rip off, and we get debris inside of the rear axle. So I'm going to show you real quick what we're doing with that. All right, guys, so we're under the truck here. We're under the passenger side. So you see, there we go. And so the vent that we're taking off is this guy here. So we're going to take this off and put in the new fitting. So you just want to make sure that before you actually take it off, you want to clean the area up really nice, because for me, I do a lot of off-roading, so I don't want to get any debris, anything like that, into the vent. And then when we take that off, we are going to be putting this guy in. So this is going to take that place, and that's what we'll put our hose into. This is a 14 millimeter bolt, 14 millimeter diameter. So that's what we'll be using to take this out. And then this guy that we got from PRG is a 13 millimeter. So make sure you have both of those on hand. All right, so I got the new fitting in. We got a hose, so we're just gonna push that on all the way, and then we'll clamp it down with this hose clamp here. Pretty simple. I mean, not too bad. So here is the old vent, and then so this is like a loose cap basically. It's crimped on there, but that's basically all you have for your rear axle ventilation. Kind of yeah, easy to get clogged up. I mean, you could see all the dirt and debris that I had, and this is after I blew it off a little bit. So really easy for this thing to get clogged up, which is why the first gen Titans had issues with blowing axle seals. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this thing, I'm going to figure out where I want to actually run this. So I'll probably zip tie it up here, and and out of the way. Now, since I do off-road, I want to make sure I keep that filter up out of the way of any potential water. So I've seen a lot of folks that will run this up to the tail, like behind the tail light. So we might try that and maybe get it up in there or something. So we'll figure that out. All right, so let me show you what I did here. So you see the filter, the hose. I zip tied it to the gas strut for the tailgate because that's not moving when you're opening and closing the tailgate. So all I did was just run that hose all the way down up through here and zip tied it. So it's going to stay out of the way of the actual, taillight housing and things like that. But it's going to stay definitely out of water because I don't anticipate taking my truck through a river that is basically 4 feet high. So not what I plan on doing. So I think this is going to do well. And so now I just got to go and zip tie it underneath, and then I'll show you the finished product. All right, so we got it all wrapped up here. So you see barb fitting, new hose clamp. I ran it and then zip tied it up along the frame. So I left this guy a little loose, so that way it has room to move. And then here we go here. I kept this one tighter so that way I could run all the slack out of this line that I could and allow it to have a bend here. So that way whenever the axle flexes, it's got some room and it won't pull out. Based off of how much line that PRG gave me, I'm not sure if that'll be enough. I might have to test it out and see if I need to get more. If I need to get more, it's an easy job. So like I said, I ran it from there, along the frame, up over the frame, and then, so you see it's coming up over the leaf, but still out of the way, okay? And then up to the rear of the taillight. So I might put a little more reinforcement just on this right there, so that way it doesn't rub through. But for now, it should be fine. It's a pretty hefty line. All right, so that wraps up that install of the axle vent mod. Like I said, I got that kit from PRG Products. Their link will be in the description below. Highly recommend it. It'll save you tons of money down the road. 50 bucks. The job that I just had done cost me about $900. So I've got the factory locked Titan, and so when my axle seal went out, the bearing marred up the actual axle shaft on my driver's side, and I had to get a whole new driver's side axle shaft. Because it's locked, it was a lot harder to come by. There was no aftermarket solution. I had to go to the dealer for that axle shaft and that assembly, and that axle shaft and assembly is shorter than the typical open differential Titan. So that axle shaft cost me like about 460 bucks on top of the labor. So, my total cost was about $900, all because of the axle seal going. So had I done this mod beforehand, I probably would have been okay, because the axle seals were done in this truck 30,000 miles ago, so it shouldn't have happened. But yeah, hopefully this helps. Let me know, if you guys have any questions or anything like that. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that jazz. Like I said, I'm gonna do some testing. I'm gonna flex the truck out at some point to see if I need to get more, a longer hose, because like I said, PRG gave me about 4 feet worth. So I don't know if it's gonna pull out when I flex. Like I said, I do a lot of off-roading, so that tends to happen a lot. If you don't do any of that stuff, nothing like that, you'll probably be fine. But for those of you that do, I'll test it out, see what it is, and I'll put a little update in the description below. Until next time, guys, enjoy the outdoors, have fun, be safe, and we'll see you around.